Happy Easter. To those here in person and watching us online, welcome to the fellowship. Thank you for joining us. So to start, will you please stand and we will sing together Prayer of the Child of Love. And you can find that on the front of your songbook. Thank you all. That was lovely. Before we do our opening meditation, I want to draw your attention to the packet on your chair. Here you will find an envelope like this for your financial gift, and you will also find a connections card. Please fill this out if you are new and would be interested in receiving information about fellowship events and activities, or if your contact information has changed. On the back card, please take a moment to list anyone you would like to remember in prayer during today's service or add to our fellowship prayer connection list. Just place the card in the collection basket and we'll have a special time of prayer for those listed later in the service. So let's start our service with a meditation. So, get comfortable in your seat and breathe. If you like, you can close your eyes. And let's do some breathing together. And so what we'll do is we'll inhale for 3 counts, hold for 3 counts, and exhale for 3 counts. Let's try that a few times. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3. Let's do that once more. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, hold, 1, 2, 3, exhale, 1, 2, 3. With your eyes closed, let's relax ourselves and Find a comfortable spot. Settle in. Thinking about the different body parts and relaxing each one, starting with your feet and toes, your calves and knees, your legs, your hips, your torso, and all the organs within, your back, shoulders, arms and fingers. Relax your neck, your head and your face. This is a time of relaxation, and we're trying to work towards not having many thoughts. If you have thoughts that enter, you can return to just thinking about your breathing, just to fixate on your breath. We give up all of our thoughts about our feelings with hopes of finding a higher wisdom in the silence that we embrace. It is said that in the quietness, all things are answered. This is a place for you and is available all the time. Enjoy and embrace the solitude of who you are and the body that allows you to have this experience. Embrace the time and this place that allows us to be here. Be aware of your surroundings. Listen. What do you hear? Do you hear the cars going by? The clicking of the fan? Try to be able to experience that without judgment or attaching a story to it. To be fully present in this holy moment. Here, we find peace. So let's kind of return back to the world of form and substance. And I'd like to read you a little something written by Elbert Hubbard. Elbert Hubbard founded an aesthetic community in East Aurora, New York, around the early 1900s. As I was talking to Mary, his claim to fame is that he made furniture and copperware and all types of things that are quite collectible. His claim to fame, he was fixated on the sinking of the Titanic in 1912, and in 1915 he was on the Lusitania and him and his wife perished. And I often thought is that what you believe and think in does create some reality. But he had wrote this in his book, and I relate to it well. I believe that no one can harm us but ourselves, that sin is misdirected energy, that there is no devil but fear, and that the universe is planned for good. We know what works. We know that work is a blessing, that winter is as necessary as summer, that night is as useful as day, that death is a manifestation of life and just as good. I believe in the now and here. I believe in you, and I believe in a power that is in ourselves that makes for righteousness. And now we'll have some special music. Welcome, Linda Abar. Let's give her a hand.
This is a song I've never sung before. Come on, honey. It's called Pass Them By, and I'm smitten with it. It came to me through the algorithms of YouTube. This woman, Agnes Obel, she's brilliant. And if you like this, come take a picture of her name because she's fantastic. Anyway, so this reminds me of spring and it reminds me of us. Come together, here we go, around the fire, here we go, aiming higher, here we go, to my surprise, a fever lamps will glimmer in the gloom, hold the light within the room. As we fill into the rim, we say the words and take them in. Oh, how the hills were laughing, and how the creeks they cried, how the grass would cheer on as we passed them by. Room for many, room for few, in the dark and made for you. And why do I hear you and believe that we come together and make it sweet? Oh, how the hills were laughing, and how the creeks they cried, how the grass would cheer on as we passed them by.
No one has a corner on the truth.
those individuals listed here on these connection cards and all others you wish to remember. Mother, Father, God, friend. Bless those today and now, those listed here. May they be reminded they are connected to us all. And you're never alone. Pray for your peace and healing. And so it is. So please join me in our next fellowship song. It's every morning, it's Easter morning. You can find that on page 9 of your songbook.
Morning is Easter morning from now on. Every day resurrection day, the past is over and gone. And I give a 5 feel good day.
spiritual director for the fellowship. And Linda Abar, I'm sure she has a good message for us today. Let's give her a big hand.
Give you this, Richard, so I don't get it all in. I thought I had a lot of stuff. Happy Easter again. Nice to have you all with us today. What a beautiful Sunday, right? Beautiful, beautiful Sunday. So I'm going 3 holy days that we're now ending with Easter Day. These are really the most important days in the Christian tradition, even though Christmas certainly seems to get a lot more excitement and enthusiasm, but Easter is actually the most important holiday in the Christian calendar. But today, as I talk about how these 3 days unfold in the gospel, it's not so much about the direct words and teachings of Jesus as it is about how they do unfold for him and for all the others around him. And of course, we look at all of that as if it's happening to us as well. We just sang the song, "There are many paths to truth." And here at the fellowship, we believe and respect that all these paths will lead to the truth. But as our consciousness expands, we are able to understand that the Bible, and in this particular case today, the Gospels, provide a layered teachings. Jesus offers one path, but there are so many others, and we are, as I said, respectful and do teach a lot from these other paths, from our messages and from our songs. So when we open to going beyond the literal meaning of the Gospels, the words, the stories, we can see that the characters and what is happening to them are really each of us. It's happening in our lives as humans and also metaphysically. Jesus lived the paradox of being fully human and fully divine. Was this special? No, because we all do. Each and every one of us, fully human and fully divine. The difference, perhaps, is that his awareness and consciousness of this was full. He had the ability to maintain his true spiritual nature and the presence of God expressing through him. He maintained that connection. So today I'm going to reference the Gospel of John. And it was interesting to me to find out that it's believed that in the Gospel of John, Jesus is almost always speaking not as a human being, but as Christ consciousness. And so that's why we get such a different words, different meanings to the stories when we read the Gospel of John. As Christ consciousness, he teaches and talks to us as the full embodiment of divine love. And he calls to us to find and surrender to this same Christ consciousness, this same Christ energy within ourselves, and to follow his example. The account of Good Friday lays out the crucifixion narrative, which is an extreme example of betrayal and abandonment, injustice and suffering. From the cross, human Jesus suffers horrendous physical torture and pain. And beyond that, he was jeered at and challenged and mocked from the crowd, saying, "This is the King of the Jews. If you are Savior, then why don't you save yourself?" And when death was imminent, we get 3 different versions of what his last words were. In the Gospel of Matthew, it is said that he said, God, why have you abandoned me?" And we have to wonder, did he really forget everything he lived and taught in that moment? And in the Gospel of Luke, he said, "Father, forgive them. They know not what they do." And we've heard these so many times. But in the Gospel of John, he says, when death is at hand, "Father, into your hands I commend my spirit." And it is done. Nothing is left of human Jesus. The ego falls away. Everything. The question we can ask ourselves is, when everything is gone, this is in our own lives as we day to day live and interact with each other, when everything is gone, even those things that we use to carry us through, when that's gone, what will hold us up? I came across this wonderful gesture of Cynthia Bourgeau. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's a really progressive Christian teacher. And she said, "Gently hold the suffering in one hand and just be with it. Whatever your human suffering looks like. And then here's the hand underneath that holds us up. This is the love of our God, whatever that name is for you. God, divine love, source, creative intelligence, whatever that looks like." So I'd like to invite you into a reflection with me around this Good Friday narrative. So please close your eyes and go back within where Richard took us earlier. And hold out your hand. And in that hand, place your suffering, your need, your loneliness, your abandonment, your grief, whatever it is for you. Just be real about it and place it right in that hand. And then just be with it for a moment. And then I would ask you to take your other hand, the hand of love, the hand of God, and place it right underneath. And let it rest. We know that this relief is there for us always. We just need to be willing to be with our suffering and open to the divine, comforting us and holding us up. So you can come back now. And we'll move on to Saturday. In these 3 holy days, Saturday is known as the day of stillness. On the second day, everything is still. There has been total and complete surrender, physical and spiritual. And so there's nothing to be done. Jesus is in the tomb. Mourners' hearts are heavy and grieving the loss of beloved Jesus. But now what? Everything has been set in motion and is in gestation. Nothing has emerged above the surface yet. But under the surface, much is happening. So we are asked on this day to be still and remember. And spiritually, remember means to reconnect with our true nature and trust. So here's another reflection. So we'll close our eyes again. Go within and just feel the stillness. Experience the stillness. Be in this beautiful, spacious stillness as I read to you. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know. Be still. Be. Just be. And now we come back again, and it's Easter morning. Early Easter morning, when it's still dark, Mary Magdalene goes to the tomb. She is, and we have to remember, she is so heavily in grief, and these are dangerous times. But she goes to the tomb alone because she must be by her beloved. But when she gets there, she sees that the stone has been rolled away. She runs back to tell Simon Peter that Jesus has been taken. And Simon Peter and John, the same John that authored the book, the Gospel of John, returned to the tomb with Mary Magdalene. And they saw that he was gone. They saw the shroud in the tomb askew on the ground. But the shroud that covered Jesus' head was not all messy on the ground. It was beautifully rolled up and placed where he lay. And it is said that when John saw this, he had the moment of seeing deathless Jesus, experiencing deathless, birthless, eternal Jesus. But he and Simon Peter both went back to the village. They returned and left Mary Magdalene there alone. And so here she is, weeping and desolate, solitary and powerless, wondering where her beloved has been taken. And then she goes into the tomb, and there she finds two angels sitting like bookends where Jesus lay, one at his feet, one at his head. And she was weeping. And the angel said to her, "Woman, why do you weep?" Now it's pretty likely that they knew. But they asked the question. And it's interesting to me, and I think that we can use the question, why in our own lives? Why are we suffering? Why do we weep? Where did the tears come from? Sometimes we don't really know until we're asked. Where does it come from in our lives? But then she turns away from the angels to see Jesus. But she doesn't recognize him as Jesus. He asks, "Who are you looking for?" And she's looking right at him, but doesn't see him for who he is. She says, "What have you done with my Lord?" She thought he was the gardener or a caretaker. She's looking right into his eyes and doesn't recognize him. And then Jesus says, "Mary." And she turns again. And this time, when she turns, she sees him. She sees Jesus, the deathless, birthless Christ consciousness. And Mary Magdalene is seen by Jesus as the deathless, birthless, eternal life, eternal Christ consciousness. How often do we look at ourselves in the mirror or look at others around us and not see love? How often does that happen? So we're called to live Christ consciousness so that we can allow our egos to fall away and allow love to use our eyes and see each other and ourselves as the beautiful, divine, God-loved beings that we are. This is the moment of union and unity. We know these things. We know these things intellectually. But in the face of trauma, chaos, danger, loss, and suffering, We need to renew our commitment to maintaining that connection. We need to renew our commitment to interior prayer, where we can go not to stay separate from everything, but to become grounded and present, to see the truth and not be confused by what appears to be. This can heal us and keep us from spinning out to the edges. We are conscious of our connection, our unity, our oneness with the deathless and birthless presence of Christ consciousness. So again, I ask you to do a reflection with me. So I close our eyes and go within. Go to that interior place and touch your heart. And as we trust in love, trust in our true nature, I ask you to feel who you truly are. Feel it in your heart. Your true self, beyond ego, beyond human mind and body. And say with me quietly in your mind, repeat with me, I am divine love. I am holy, one with God, my source. Feel that and accept that. Let's do that one more time. I am divine love. I am holy, one with God, my source. This is where Easter leaves us. This is the heights that we end these 3 holy days on. And I'd like to encourage you not to leave these reflections with Easter as we pass by, but to take them with you into the coming week and into the rest of your lives as we remember the suffering and the surrender, the stillness, and the truth of who we are. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mary. Very powerful. And every thought becomes a prayer. Page 35. Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Take charge of what you're saying. See how you consciousness, the state of peace will rest, and know that God
Whoa. I'm still in La La Land. So, confession, I had a song third written for today, but it just was, the flow stopped, and I was not going to push it. But it was about how we have to sleep to wake up, we have to rest to rise, we have to go through darkness to be in the light. This song I'm gonna sing for you because it's done, because someone else wrote it, is called Child of Man, and it's really just about spring. And sometimes I do as best as I can in the winter to keep my spirits up and do winterish things, but I feel so much better on a day like today. And that's kind of what this is about. And I think all of nature feels that. If I were a desert flower, I went too long at pain and cower. Spring would make me sing, my voice would raise, tiny buds begin to bloom. In spring I'd blossom and forget the winter's gloom. If I were a brook of water, kissed by frost along my borders, spring would make me sing, my voice would raise, I'd release my icy chains. In spring I'd bubble and forget the winter's rains. But I'm only a child of man. I'm only a child of man. Just an innocent child of man. Don't look so surprised, cause my eyes shine and glow. It's the sunlight in the skies, it's making it so. Don't look so surprised, cause my eyes shine and glow. It's the sunlight in the skies, it's making me so. If I were a joyful songbird, I went too long so cold and somber. Spring would make me sing, my voice would ring like tiny bells on stars of silk. A song as beautiful and pure as mother's milk. But I'm only a child of man. I'm only a child of man. Just an innocent child of man. Don't look so surprised, cause my eyes shine and glow. It's the sunlight in the skies, it's making me so. Don't look so surprised, cause my eyes shine and glow. It's the sunlight in the skies, it's making me so. Don't be surprised by this look in my eyes, like a flower tree. I will bloom in the spring. I will shed my wings like the green grass grows, like a flower tree. I will throw my head back and sing.
Thank you, Linda. We have a few announcements. Out in the hall, we have a card for Diana Mitchell, whose husband passed away recently, and a client we signed. Also, we're having another Death Cafe this coming Saturday, April 15th at 3 p.m. at the Fellowship office. And Mary brought in an Easter cake for us that's out there, so please join us for some cake after the service. Are there any other announcements? Okay, then. Thank you all for another great service. Thank you, Linda, Corey, Mary, and Samantha. See my hand. Thank you for joining us this afternoon here in person and all those who are watching virtually. let's close with our peace circle, and you can find information. Back